Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Hashtag Dork. My name is Rich Keefe, joined as always by Davey Eyeballs, aka R2 Von D2. All hail the king of ginger ale. It's Ryan. Davey, how are you?
I'm having that weird, I don't know, Rich. It's that weird time between Christmas and New Year's where I don't really know what to do.
I don't know. I
Like,
didn't know what day it was. Like earlier this
Yeah.
morning, and we're recording at a time that we don't record. So I'm just so out of sorts. I
clearly.
took so much time off too. Like I have no idea.
If you're watching this on YouTube right now, you can tell it's a kind of a weird time of day because where I'm positioned at this time of day at 10 o'clock, the sun is directly in my face.
Yeah. Do you have sunglasses handy? You might want to throw them on.
I got this hat pulled way down. I look like an absolute maniac.
You might want to think about it. Ryan, did you have a very Merry Christmas?
I did. It's my house. So we did Christmas with the girls and then immediately left.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So my house is like an absolute disaster.
Oh yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
How was first Christmas as a dad? You give the presents?
Selfishly, Ryan, no sword.
No sword. I was going to ask you about the sword.
I didn't get a sword. Yeah. Oh, the first Christmas with the baby. She had a great time. Santa was very good to her.
She didn't know what was going on. It was fun.
No, not a clue. But she got some good stuff.
Good.
But not a goddamn sword in the bunch. And I don't know if that's more. My wife and my family think that I was kidding because I wasn't.
You were not kidding, no.
Or if they thought more likely that I'd end up hurting myself with it.
Well, they have to understand that giving someone a samurai sword is one of the highest honors you can receive as a person.
I am trying to skip a lot of the training.
Yeah.
To be fair, I just want to jump to the end of the line and get a samurai sword and do stuff in the backyard with it. Do stuff. What are you barking at?
Yeah,
are you out of your mind? See, he actually supports me.
Yeah,
in the sword.
Yeah,
I want take it easy. Get out of here. What is? I'm talking about my sword that I didn't get.
Yeah,
and
where's the sword?
Ryan Davey wants to know where the sword is. You got a sword. So she's claiming I got a sword because not really. Here's what happened. My mom bequeathed to me. Something that was my grandfather's that he brought back from Italy during World War II.
Italy.
So that part sounds amazing.
Yep.
It's basically like a glorified letter opener.
Okay.
It looks like a fucking pirate sword though, and it says, "Oh, could you cool it with Demi Moore's book?" So she wanted Demi Moore's book, and she didn't get it. And
I heard her interview on Stern. It's fascinating, the life that woman lived.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's a good book, and I'll be happy to get it for her at some point. But it's not like I didn't get you anything. Anyway, she's gone.
Here we go. She walked away.
She's gone.
Turned it back on me. Yeah.
Fuck. But anyway, Ryan, the baby had a good. And I don't want to. I mean, I got some good stuff. I tweeted out a picture of some of the graphic novels. I got a bunch of Batman stuff.
A lot of good reading.
I'm excited to read, but no sword. Good news is, gang. My birthday is in March.
Sure is.
So if anybody wants to redeem themselves, anybody out there listening and they want to send me a samurai sword, I'll take it.
I saw actually a perfect gift for you. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I'm still going to buy it. I'm still going to buy it for you.
Is it 2 samurai swords?
It's the big one. No, it's not. It's better than that.
It's a samurai sword that looks like Darth Maul's lightsaber.
Nope. I'm going to buy it for you and you're going to love it. You're going to wear it every day.
All right, Ryan. Well, thank you very much. But I know people did reach out to me and they asked me if I got the sword. And sadly, I did not.
It's bullshit.
It is bullshit. Like, that's all I wanted. I don't want anything else.
Oh, man.
Fuck, I'm going to have to go to one of those Comic-Cons and buy a sword.
Yeah.
That's going to be my next purchase. Actually, I have a question for you. I was going to save it for the video game minute. I think I've asked you before, but I want to get your answer again. So my 9-year-old niece and nephew, they're twins. They got a Nintendo Switch.
Sure.
And they got a bunch of games. We even got them some games for it. They were playing Mario Kart 8.
Yeah.
And to say that I put on an absolute clinic would be a wild understatement.
You're underselling it. Yeah, you showed them stuff.
Wild understatement. Yeah. What I was able to do, sit down there. They got these sweet video game chairs too. Like I didn't want to leave their house, and so I'm just sitting down there, and I'm just ripping wins,
power slides,
power slides. They're screaming like, "Oh, I'm in third place. What place are you in?" I'm like, "Well, look at the head of the board here."
Yeah, what? I'm coming around you second time on your left here.
That's me. My question is, do I need a Nintendo Switch?
It's super like okay. So I went and traveled with my family right after
Mhm,
Christmas, as I
mhm.
said, and I
Yep.
was going to. So my wife's grandmother is a snowbird, so we stay at her house. So she's in Florida,
Okay. Yep.
but because she spends most of her time and she's there. I'm not kidding. From like Thanksgiving, and she's there from like Memorial Day to Thanksgiving. She's here, and then she's gone for like most of the year.
Oh yeah. So it's like not even
So
half an hour.
yeah,
Okay.
so for she has no cable. She has like basic cable, like 3 channels,
Right.
no internet, no phone. She's basically they're just keeping the lights on in this place.
Wow. Does
So
she
I
have working toilet?
yeah, she does.
All
She
right.
does.
That ain't all bad.
So I brought the Switch just to have something to do. Lifesaver. Absolute lifesaver.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Because like since since adding a third person to the house here, I
Mhm.
have played the PlayStation 4 a lot less. So I was like, I would love to play Mario Kart, and that's something that even my wife would play. Like she
Yeah.
sat down and was playing it. She loves that game too. But I'm like, what's the Switch? Is the Switch still $300?
I don't think so. Yeah, it might be. Like
So
the
I'm
base,
like,
but they have the Switch Lite now too, which is like the straight handheld one.
no, but I would like to have it on the
Yeah.
screen too.
Yeah.
But I'm
I'm
like,
sure
do
you
I?
could get it for cheaper somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, because what games are? This is my question for you, and you're the expert on
Yep.
this. What Switch games besides Mario Kart, which is already a pretty good seller, would I play on the Switch that I wouldn't play on the PS4?
Well, you a lot of them actually, because
Oh,
a lot of Nintendo stuff is just like their best stuff is Nintendo stuff. But
okay.
you would play Ultimate Alliance 3.
Okay.
You would play that. You
Yep.
would play. You're a Zelda guy, right? You like the Zeldas?
I'm
Not
not,
really.
but I'm not, but I think I would get it. I think I would probably try it.
Mario Odyssey is really good.
Okay.
But my Breath of the Wild and Ultimate Alliance are my favorite games so far. But there's a lot of good, like you can get.
Mm.
You know how they have like the emulators? They have one for Super Nintendo and Nintendo that if you hook it up to online, it's free. So you get like 50 NES games whenever you want them, as long as you have an internet connection.
Yeah, I like that too.
You like that?
I do
You
like that. You know what, Ryan? Do I want to? What would I be better off getting, a sword or a Nintendo Switch?
Probably Nintendo Switch because
I heard sword. Did you say sword?
I said
I think I'm getting a funny connection.
Nintendo sword. You get a Nintendo sword.
I even had a
in your
name.
phone.
I even named the sword.
Oh, you did.
You want to know what I named it?
What's that?
Nick Swordson.
I like that.
Yeah, and he tells jokes
Mhm.
before he cuts you up.
Right
Before he cuts you up.
I like that.
All right, Ryan. That's the Christmas. Hopefully,
Mhm.
everybody out there, you guys all had a very merry Christmas. And if you're listening to this before New Year's, hopefully you have a safe and happy New Year's coming up.
Just have a,
Ryan,
safe and happy one. Yeah.
just drink.
And if
Have
you
a
go
good
to
time.
Times Square, get a diaper because then they'll let you go to the bathroom.
I spent how many New Year's parties in a row did you host?
Oh shit!
Jesus.
That was like a thing. It was like sick. It had to have been like 4 or 5 years in a row.
I would think, yeah, easy. Because I want to
Easy.
say New Year's Eve, probably when I was like 18 through like 24, I probably spent with you.
Yep.
Something
That's
like
about
that.
right. That's about all of them.
Yep.
And each one was better than the last.
They were all
You can
different
tell some stories.
locations.
Yep, all different locations. Oh, there was one that was too low. It was the same location twice, but good gravy.
Yeah.
Woo!
Good time.
Yeah.
I almost got involved in a bit of a. Anyway,
Dust up. Yeah, we both did.
Let's just continue.
Usually, when you get into a dust up, I'm usually involved somehow.
Mhm. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Ryan, should we get to the news?
I thought we haven't done that yet. Oh my god, let's go. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's rip through the news because we have a lot to get to here. We have a lot to unpack. First thing I saw, and it was funny because I was just watching like the NBA quadruple header or whatever on Christmas, and they just snuck in a Fargo season 4 teaser, and I'm like, usually you see everything online first, like you always see it like tweeted out. So I watched it, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then I went to tweet it out from at DORK Podcast, couldn't find it anywhere, and so it was one of those things where it was just available. I don't know if it's even out there now. I found some guy like videoed his screen and put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
So he tweeted that out. But it was just a cool thing. It was like Chris Rock, Jason Schwartzman. They're like all very serious. They're like getting together. They're meeting in the middle. Schwartzman's hat flies off and he like goes to catch it and they go back. So it's like it's Fargo. So it's gonna be like
Fargo,
funny and then murders and then funny and then murders. So like I'm looking forward to that. And I think that's early next year, it sounds like.
From the movie down, and like they said, there was the one season that wasn't very good, but the black comedy aspect of this
So good.
is so good. I'm coming around to the David Thewlis character with the toothpick, the bad teeth.
God, he was
That was
hard to watch.
hard to watch.
Yeah,
Hard to
he was.
like this face, like the face. You know, like,
That I didn't think was the strongest season.
no.
I thought the first two were better, but it's still a great show. Made
Two of the
our
best characters, though.
all decade. Two of the best characters.
Carrie Coon and Mary Elizabeth Winstead in the first season. But
they were great. And Ewan McGregor was good in his little dual role as the twins.
I feel like as an actor, you jump at that. When they ask you to play twins, you're like, I'm in.
I was like, and twins.
Yeah.
Like, I'll do it. Deadpool 3 is in the works, according to Ryan Reynolds. And they better not. And
they better don't. Just don't.
I think they may have learned their lesson because you remember they basically took a bunch of the extra scenes from Deadpool 2 and did like the Very Merry Deadpool Christmas or whatever.
Which was like a PG version of it, PG-13 version.
And like people didn't like it.
No.
And so Deadpool 3, even though it's Disney, it has to, and it's Marvel, it has to be rated R. It has to be.
It has to
be.
Like
of all the ones.
And now I would love to see like Tom Holland show up for like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Pretty cool.
Like they did with the X-Men. With the last Deadpool. Like have like some like major cameo, but as a joke.
Yeah.
You know?
I would love that. Ryan, people were going crazy about sort of last week we did The Rise of Skywalker, and we had sort of commented about how they really just shelved the Rose character.
Yep.
She was barely in it. And all of a sudden on Twitter, you know how people get on Twitter? Angry.
So angry. Like, the bird machine.
Rose Tico deserved better, or whatever the hell the hashtag was.
No,
like, she didn't. She got too much. And they're like, the movie was 2 hours and 40 minutes, and she was only on screen for like a minute 30. I'm like, too much.
You're lucky.
Too much.
We'll get into this more. There's more of this coming, but like, say thank you.
Right.
Say thank you. You're in the biggest, like the two of the biggest grossing movies ever.
Yeah.
Like, say thank you. You're gonna get other roles.
Yeah, you're gonna be
Rose
fine.
Tico, and you know what? JJ did Rose dirty. Like Ryan Johnson did all this time trying to develop this character, and basically JJ just shit on it. I get it. That happens.
I know, but it
happens.
I'm good with it.
I really see people want a Rose Tico Disney Plus. Like,
I would cancel my subscription.
No,
if they did that.
Out of here.
I would immediately cancel.
She's an engineer. Engineers are the most boring people in the the
great line, though.
Sorry about the engineer.
Tough shot at engineers.
Sorry.
That was the best line, though, when Finn's like, "Come on, Rose, you got to decide. Do you want to come with us on this sweet adventure?" And she's like, "Nah, I got to stay back with the computers. I gotta stay here." She's like, "All right, you're missing out on the movie."
Waze is being all fucked up on one of the ships. I got to figure that out.
I got to unplug it and plug it back in. So I'll be right back. Ryan, Variety came out with their top 10 most overrated films of the decade. I'm not going to go through the entire list just because I want to get going here. But Inception did make
top 5. Give me top 5. Rip them.
Inception made the top 10.
Okay.
So I was happy to see that. I think that was 9th. Paddington 2 was number 2.
What the fuck is with Paddington? People went nuts for Paddington.
Yeah. And then the number 1, according to Variety's most overrated film of the decade, was The Master, which I saw. It was like Scientology, but it wasn't. Like they didn't go all the way. Like he didn't play L. Ron Hubbard, but it was like close. It was Joaquin Phoenix. I remember seeing it and being like,
Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah, and they were both really good in it. It's one of those movies that you see and you recognize how good the actors are, but you're like, I never want to see that again.
But there's certain movies that are like they're for actors. You know what I mean? Like this is for people. Like there's certain music that's just for musicians.
Right.
There's certain video games. Like I think like Bloodborne and Dark Souls. Like those games are for hardcore like video gamers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like jazz is for like real music, and movies like this are for like actors. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
For actors to watch.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for? That's my news. You ready for your news?
Not really. Let's rip it anyway.
All right, what do you got?
So I was looking at, again, I think it was Forbes magazine, and I'm looking at all like this basically the decade in review, because that's kind of something we invented with taking a whole 10 years and looking at it.
You're welcome.
And Forbes magazine listed the PS4 Pro as the greatest game console of the decade. How do you feel about that?
I don't feel that good about it.
Why not?
Wait, the PS4 Pro? What's that?
Pro. That's the one that's like it's 4K. It runs in 60 frames. It's basically the PlayStation 4, but like the nerdier version of it. It's bigger. It's older brother.
Oh, all right. I mean, I guess I never played it. I would have
I
gone
mean,
with
you have a PlayStation 4. Like you have a.
yeah, but but I don't have a Pro, do I?
You don't have a Pro, so you don't play in 4K. It's basically the graphics card is better and the processor is
Oh,
faster.
all
That's
right.
all.
I mean, I guess that's
But
probably fair.
so and I was looking at all the news stories and things we have to look forward to. Obviously, Diablo 4. Like I'm looking at all these things that Overwatch 2 is
Last
coming.
of Us 2.
Last of Us. Hopefully, we
Electric
don't even
Boogaloo.
know. We have the. Did you see the size of the Xbox? By the way,
Yeah,
you see the size of that thing? You
I'm
might
gonna have to move if I
just get
get
a
it.
PC.
I'm gonna have to get a bigger house.
Yep. Google Stadia was a dump. We didn't talk enough about Google
No,
Stadia being a dump.
no.
Do you know Pokemon now is the largest retail franchise in history, or something like that?
Really?
It's bigger than like Marvel or Lucasfilm or anything like Star Wars or anything. Like Pokemon is bigger than that.
Wow. My
I
nephew
forget
was
how
telling
much
me
money.
about the games. Yeah,
I
Pokemon.
want to get the
Sword and Shield.
yeah.
That's just rubbing salt in the wound, though. If I get the sword,
If you got Sword and Shield,
yeah.
highest grossing media franchise of all time is Pokemon. It is total revenue $95 billion.
Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Not to distract from the point. You think if I asked for a shield, I would have gotten it?
I think so. Because
Yeah.
you could use that as a sled. You could use that, there's many other purposes for a shield.
Shelter, like you could,
Yep.
you know what I mean? You can protect, because that's
Mhm.
like, now you're a healer, basically, in
A makeshift
Overwatch.
lean-to.
Yeah. If you need.
Who knows? Yeah. But
Right.
I mean, I would just, like I said, we're in that weird time for video games. I think they start coming out February, March, we start to get another push.
Okay.
But right now it's just kind of like play what you got. Finish what you got. I actually started, speaking of Nintendo, I started Breath of the Wild again.
Oh, really?
I started
giving that another spin, huh?
So I played it for like 20 hours.
Yeah.
And then stopped because
I got you. Going back
life. And then I forgot how to play. So now I had to start all I was in like a really hard part and I couldn't figure out how to get out of it.
Yeah.
So now I had to reteach myself how to play. But I'm further than I ever have been now, which is nice.
Cool.
I did it so quickly.
Very good.
Yep. That was my Christmas break.
Ryan, are you ready for the topic du jour?
Swords?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Today, it is The Mandalorian. It was an 8-episode Disney Plus series that really came with the launch. And let's be honest, I like Disney Plus a lot, but as far as like new content, it's all they had.
That's all they had, yeah.
Like I think there's like a High School Musical show, but for people like us, people who listen to this podcast, it was basically The Mandalorian. This is another issue we can get into at another date, but like all those Marvel shows that they announced and all this other stuff, it's like, where are they? But anyway,
yeah.
It's The Mandalorian. It's 8 episodes. 6 of the 8 episodes, in fact, were written by Jon Favreau, who
and you could tell.
Yes, you could tell, and he has launched himself into the hashtag DORK Hall of Fame.
Oh God,
the stuff that he has done, and like you and I loved him just from Swingers and Made.
Yeah.
And then you take everything else that he has been a part of. It's pretty crazy. We'll begin as we do with all of our TV and movie reviews, spoiler free. So I'll ask you, Ryan, did you like it?
I sure did, Rich. I sure did.
Yes. I say loved it.
There was a moment in the middle of the season where I was like, but they fixed it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There was definitely a time where I was like, all right, this is a show, and it wasn't. I agree. I think it kind of started with an absolute bang.
Mm-hmm.
It maybe dipped a little bit, one episode in particular. Then it kind of ramped back up a little bit into, what you thought the show could be.
And then like a kind of a really bad episode.
Yep.
And then two good ones.
And I think it ended strong.
Yeah.
Which is important. And so I just watched it recently. The overall story of it, I love. And it was like, we knew going in, like when it was like just enough of like, all right, here's the deal. It takes place after Return of the Jedi, which is a nice sweet spot because if you look at some of the movies that have come out and even some of the adjacent TV shows that are all canon, it's all like episode 3.5. It's Solo and Rogue One are all in between the prequels and the original trilogy.
Right.
They didn't really Return of the Jedi, long space, and then Force Awakens.
Yeah, it's like 30, 35, 40 years.
Right. And so we haven't seen anything in between there. And again, maybe there's some comics. I'm sure there are and whatever else. But I'm saying as far as like the movies and the TV shows, there's nothing. So it was a nice spot to sort of jump in. And they were like, oh, well, it's going to tell a completely different story. And it's going to be, and you're like,
They
True.
can't really tell a completely different
Yeah,
story.
it's still like pretty important, like the time frame of where it is. But I thought the story was good. I thought the characters, a couple of them were really strong, and like the main character himself, Ryan. What did you think of the Mandalorian?
I thought it was great. It was this like, I think Pedro Pascal himself said it's like a Clint Eastwood character. Like it's this like total badass, but like
very Western,
but like very morally ambiguous. Like you don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy most of the time, And then obviously we get it's Disney, so he winds up being a very good guy. But like, it's when it started, I was like, I'm all in on this.
But I think I was with you. Like it's some of the Disney stuff too. I wasn't sure if they were gonna like, even if it's like a faceless kind of stormtrooper or like a random like droid or something. Like, will they shoot and kill things? It's like, oh yeah, they will. Like there was just enough violence. Like listen, I don't need it to be like a bloodbath. Like this doesn't need to be Deadpool or Logan, but like there was still enough of it to do that. And I thought there was some comedy, like Star Wars-y comedy too.
Yeah.
Where it's obviously not a laugh riot, but like you could tell Jon Favreau's hand in it. Taika Waititi was the voice of one of the droids, and he directed the last episode, and you could tell what he had his hands in.
Oh yeah, from the very opening shot, you knew
some of the dialogue. You know what was going on there. I think, and it was like kind of revisiting a lot of the movies, and after we watched The Rise of Skywalker, I would put this show, and it's hard to compare a show to movies, but it's in like that Rogue One territory for me.
I was talking about it with Goo after we had a side chat. We were talking shit about all you guys.
Wow.
And we were if you cut out like some of the bad stuff, you could make this into arguably the best Star Wars movie.
Yeah, there's a chance. I mean, I have such.
If you re-edit it, if you cut it and edit it into one movie, like they would be a pretty badass Star Wars movie.
It really would be. Like the action, the story. There's not too many lulls, and I think 8 episodes as opposed to like 13. Like think about it, the Netflix series that we always would kind of like love, but also complain about. You're talking about like 13-hour-long episodes of Luke Cage, and you're like, oh my god. This was 8 episodes, anywhere between 32 and 40 minutes, 45 minutes tops. And some people complained about that, and I was like, well, why? Like that's the show. That's the show.
Yeah, like look at. I think you should leave. Some episodes are like 12 minutes long. Like some are 22, some are 18.
You want all your best stuff.
When you're done, you're done. Yeah.
But I think because they left in some other stuff, and because there was a couple of down episodes, if you had to sort of rank it all together, I would go Empire Strikes Back, the original Star Wars New Hope would be easy 1, 2.
Yep.
Then like Rogue One and this, and I guess I have. Yeah, I was gonna say Rise of Skywalker, Return of the Jedi, Force Awakens, like in that pool. Yep, it's definitely in the top half.
Yep, and there, like I said, we'll get into a little deeper dive, but there's some issues I had and some slow episodes that you just could have cut it.
And if you're spoiler free right now, you haven't watched it yet. Unfortunately, you already had the Baby Yoda thing spoiled for you, like I did the day it came out.
Oh man,
and. So then there was that report that Disney was trying to get all the GIFs taken off the internet, and everybody was like, "What are they doing that for?" It's like, well, they're trying to like avoid people seeing it. It's not like they're trying to get like a money for every GIF tweeted out. Like they just were like that was a pretty cool reveal, but in this day and age, it's like too bad.
I think I was so excited. I think I got up at like 7 o'clock in the morning and watched.
Yeah. You watched it.
Yeah, the first one. Yeah.
But it was like I was at work and I'm like, oh, I'm going to go home and I'll watch episode 1 of The Mandalorian. Like I just, paid for Disney Plus. I'll go home and watch it.
And you're just like, oh, before I do that, I'm like, let's see who hates me on Twitter today.
Yeah.
You're like,
which is one of my favorite activities.
Yeah.
Like what, like, let's see if there's any original burns, and there aren't ever. And so I'm like, let's see what people are saying. And they're like, oh, Disney Plus shows up with like the Marvel movies, like High School Musical and a Baby Yoda, and I'm like,
God damn it,
what the fuck? What's your hashtag dork score for the series?
5.
Yeah,
5 on the nose. I'm
going like a nice hard 5. Like I look at it almost like that's a good score. Like Stranger Things season 3. It was like very good. It was not that tippy top tier still for me. And we're gonna do a best of 2019 coming up probably next week or the week after that.
Nice. Yeah,
I think like Watchmen, The Boys, I Think You Should Leave, even though it is obviously a different kind of genre, but like those were almost perfect shows.
Oh yeah.
you know, and then you have this one. I think is like a little like a step back, but like I still really enjoyed it.
Mhm.
All right, anything else before we get to spoilers?
Let's go spoilers.
Spoilers. One of the things that jumped out to me, Ryan, is just all the stuff that is connected to the universe, even though they're like, oh, maybe we're not going to do that.
Yeah. No,
You're like-
like they tied in stuff from the animated series.
They did
a lot.
Yeah.
Like a lot of it. Like crazy shit.
The Yoda stuff is right in your face. And we can get into just everything that's going on with Baby Yoda, who, again, did confuse some people, like non-Star Wars fans are thinking that it is Yoda and all this other stuff. And again, he's 50 years old.
Yeah, being a Star Wars purist, like Yoda's a name. He's not,
right.
And he's not, like technically he could be Yoda's kid. He could be. There's a theory.
Oh, so this takes place 5 or 6 years after Return of the Jedi.
Correct.
So Yoda's dead. Yoda was like 940.
Something like that. He was like 900. He was like 900.
And so this little baby Yoda is 50, meaning he would have been alive, I think, back in like episode 1.
Yes. And you notice that Yaddle is on the Jedi Council and then not on the Jedi Council she's on the Jedi Council in Phantom Menace.
Okay.
And then not in the Clone Wars.
Is she taking care of the baby? Because I would feel like the baby would already be alive then, right?
Well, the idea is that she had to leave because, Jedi are supposed to be chaste.
Oh, boy.
She had to leave, and that's where the child comes from.
Child, very green. Yaddle, not so green.
Not so green. Yoda,
very pale
green. Well, very green.
Famously green.
Famously green. Well, then he got like pale green as he got older.
He was like 900 years old.
Yeah.
But so he's 50, which I would think he's roughly Darth Vader's age.
Yes.
When do you think, like, ballpark?
Yeah.
Like, how old do you think Vader was when he died?
I think when he became Vader, he was like 18, 19.
Yeah. And then they like just had the kids, and then there was like a time jump a little bit. And so, you figure Luke Skywalker was 18, then a few years go by. So like ballpark.
He's in his 50s.
They could have been in the same class together. They could have been the same graduating class from Tatooine High.
Isn't that interesting?
Isn't that pretty good? Mm-hmm. But you also get obviously stormtroopers. You get the Jawas. You get those little guys.
Oh, those little fuckers.
They talk about the Empire. They actually go to Tatooine at one point. They go to Mos Eisley.
Yep.
And they go in the
they're in the booth.
They're in the same booth that Han shot Greedo in.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. Bill Burr referenced Gungans.
Yeah, he did.
Remember that?
What are you, a Gungan? Like he said something.
Whatever he said. I was like, wow. I also loved the Admiral Akbar's. That was his kid, right? That they referenced. Like his kid was like I don't know if there's a bounty on.
So is that? Yeah, I was gonna say. So is that his kid in Rise of Skywalker?
Could be, because they look alike, but they don't look like. I don't know. It could be.
It could be.
But that'd be an interesting little twist. All right, so here's I think one of the big questions of the whole series. I don't know if I haven't read anything, so I don't know if this is a theory or if this is even a question or whatever. But the Mandalorian, the character himself, what we're led to believe is he's just a stone cold bounty hunter, and like if he has to kill, he'll kill. But really, he's just out there to get paid. One of the first rules of Fight Club is you don't ask. You don't ask questions. You don't ask any questions. You're just like
very much like the movie The Transporter.
Right.
You don't ask. You just drive. Yeah.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Why does he have such a quick change of heart with Baby Yoda? First killing IG-11 or IG-11 or whatever, and then like going back and like saving him, and then essentially like now being like his guardian. Why do you think he did that?
Well, I think this is, if you look at it from the perspective of, he does say something about his own code about, no women, no kids, basically biting from the movie The Professional.
Right.
But also, you have the idea that that happened to him.
He was a foundling.
He was a foundling. And luckily, he found this group of people who took care of him, but I don't know if he's really bought in. There's things that, yes, this is the way, this is what I have to do, but not necessarily that he wants to do them all the time. And if you could give someone a better life than he had, I think, because at the end they tell him, well, this kid's yours until he reaches the age where you don't have to raise him anymore, or you find find his family.
Hmm.
You know, and I think that knowing that, I think he's actually going to give it a shot and find the kid's family.
Which could be some crazy stuff.
Could
Might
be
a
some
crazy
stuff
season
there.
two.
Yeah.
They've already picked it up for a season 2, by the way, and it'll be
I
out
already
next fall.
know how you end that, by the way.
Hey, and what?
How you end that. How you get Baby Yoda off the shelf. Who his family is.
Yaddle.
Nope. Maybe. But if you think about it, there's been an internet buzz, Richard. And I don't want to, should I wait till the end to tell you what I think they should do with this?
Yeah, if you want to do it, yeah.
Let's do it at the end. Do it at the end.
So one of my key conspiracies as it relates to this.
Yeah.
You know how Jedi can manipulate people's minds, especially weak-minded people?
Yes.
Now, I don't want to insinuate that the Mandalorian could be weak-minded, but is there any chance that Baby Yoda knew that he could get inside his head and have him be like, your mission is actually now to save me and protect me, and kind of brainwash him a little bit?
I think that because he did it to all of us, didn't he?
He did.
He did it to all of us.
We fell in love with him. He was the man of the year, the person of the year, 2019, yep. Baby Yoda.
When Jason Sudeikis punched him, I was like, "What the fuck, man?"
I was so mad about that.
What are you doing?
That was pretty good though. But I don't know. Like, could he have gotten inside his head a little bit?
It was funny.
A quick turn.
It is a quick turn. And my wife, who didn't really watch, I told her about the show, but she didn't really watch it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, she loves Jason Sudeikis. So I'm like, oh, Jason Sudeikis was in it. And he punched Baby Yoda. She goes, why would you punch Baby Yoda? Like, she's like, why would you do that?
That was a good scene though in the finale with Sudeikis and the other dude, and they're just like going back and forth talking about what's in the bag, and like, doesn't it need some water? It's like, you just want to look at it. Like, no, I don't.
And I love how they were trying to shoot at the can and neither one of them could hit it.
They're horrible.
Like, that's like, yeah.
That's good.
That was a nice little...
That was pretty good. Yeah. So yeah, it's 8 episodes. The first episode, I think, was just a really great start and an introduction into the Mandalorian. He ends up at the end finding Baby Yoda and then killing the droid. It was a pretty good droid. He was a bounty hunter droid originally.
And cool spins all the way around, cool moves.
Spins all the way around. He's got a good voice. Taika Waititi, it was good. Episode 2, which is called The Child, that's where we first see Baby Yoda use the Force against that Mudhorn.
The Mudhorn, yeah.
And that was pretty cool. And you're like, oh shit. So this little guy, and then it takes a lot out of him though. It like wipes him out.
Yeah, well, he's a little guy.
He's just a little tiny little guy.
A little shit of a guy, you know.
But that was a good scene. Episode 3 was The Sin. This is where the Mandalorian delivered the child. This is where he asked the question. Then he leaves. That is like, oh shit, turns back, and you get a pretty badass scene between Mandalorians versus a bunch of bounty hunters.
See, I was in on this show, and then that with the Mandalorians flying around and killing everybody, that was awesome. But a little Star Wars, I don't know if they said this, but it was in the credits. I went back and looked because I was reading all about it as the show came out. The character that Jon Favreau voices is the big Mandalorian with the big gun.
Okay.
And his name is in the credits was Paz Vizsla.
Okay.
That's significant because the first Mandalorian to ever be inducted into the Jedi Order was named Tar Vizsla. So he's a descendant of Tar. Now we know
that's awesome
from the last episode how that ties in.
That is awesome. All right.
So you should, if you were paying attention, you probably saw that coming.
That's pretty cool.
We're into spoilers. What the fuck am I talking about?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
Yeah, Tar Vizsla was the person who had the Darksaber.
Wow.
He created the Darksaber.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That's
so technically
cool.
that belongs to the Mandalorians.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Episode 4.
Sorry, not to interrupt you again. I'm just going to keep interrupting you as you try to move the podcast along. I'm going to keep interrupting you.
But I like Easter eggs, though. Good. These are good.
The only way you can have the Darksaber is if you defeat the owner in combat. That's the only way. That's the Mandalorians. That's the only way you can get it.
Do you think if I asked for a Darksaber, I would have gotten that?
You would have to find it first because it's one of a kind,
right?
And you would have to beat whoever owned it in hand-to-hand combat.
Hand-to-hand combat.
Well, he'd be using that, and you'd have to be able to like take it from his cold dead fingers. Literally,
I don't have a fucking sword to fight him with. Is the problem?
Well, now we're stuck, and we're stuck. Catch 22.
Episode 4, I thought was the worst episode. It was called Sanctuary. You do meet Cara Dune, played by Gina Carano.
Yes.
Who, I like her. You like her.
I like her. She has the emotional range of like, I don't know. She's just like,
She's got a
I
good
don't know.
look.
She just
She's got a
she'll
good
be
look.
yeah.
Cool
I just all I'm
character.
gonna say. I won't say a bad thing about her.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Because speaking of hand-to-hand combat, she could
the
kill me.
Shit
Yeah.
out of you. Yep.
Yeah.
But so you meet her. This is the one where it's just like he goes to that one
Like
small
Swamp Town.
place, and
Yeah.
that
It's like
girl just like is obsessed with him, and but you get some stuff like he won't remove his helmet, so you're learning about how he
Yep.
won't remove his helmet, and you're learning throughout the series about how much he hates droids. He hates fucking droids.
hates droids.
Episode 5 is called The Gunslinger. This is where they go to Mos Eisley, and you meet an up-and-coming bounty hunter, Toro Calican.
Toro Calican. Now, this, surprisingly, Richard, is the episode I have the biggest problem with.
This guy was a shithead. You could tell right from the get-go. But
He's a shithead, but
what's your problem?
did you see? So that shithead, played by the shithead Jake Cannavale, is Bobby Cannavale's son.
Oh yeah, he does look like him.
So he's his son.
Wait, Bobby Cannavale, isn't he married to Olivia?
Someone famous.
What's her name? Rose Byrne.
No, that's hang on. Is he?
I think he is. Give that a bing.
He was married before that though, but I think he's married.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So here's where I have a problem. So this kid, Jake Cannavale, I read you a direct quote because I wanted to bring it up for this episode.
Okay.
Now you know that Bobby Cannavale and Jon Favreau are friends because he was in that movie Chef. Remember Jon Favreau made that movie?
Yeah,
and it was basically just him and all his friends.
He learned how to be a chef though. And then he has that show on Netflix now. Yeah.
Right. So Bobby Cannavale was in that movie.
Okay.
So this kid, he has like no real acting credits, and this is like his big break. And you're an actor's son. This is what he said about the rise of Skywalker. You were just in The Mandalorian. You were just in it as a. I'm not gonna. You're probably a very talented kid, but this is a favor from.
I don't think he is. I don't think he is all that talented. He literally acted like if you just plucked me and threw me in there, and were like, "Hey, say these lines."
Yeah,
like, that's what he was like.
So let me say what this kid said about the Rise of Skywalker. Ready? After just being in one episode of The Mandalorian, Rise of Skywalker was hands down the worst Star Wars movie, an absolute fucking failure. Went to see it last night and woke up still mad. Like it rendered the entire new trilogy completely useless. That's what you say?
Fuck this guy.
That's what you say?
Come on.
Like, come on, man. Come on. Like, whew. Like, talk about biting the hand that feeds you. You know?
That's bad. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see him again, though.
No, we're not.
No,
we're not going to see him again. But otherwise, I love who was Ming-Na Wen was the other assassin.
Yeah,
and she was awesome.
She was really cool. That was a cool character. There's a lot there.
And here's the thing that pissed me off. Who was that at the end?
Oh, that went over there and was looking?
Yeah.
I gotta rewatch it, but could it be Moff Gideon?
It could be, but you hear the people were like, you hear the jingle jangle of the spurs, which is usually reserved for Boba Fett. Bubba Fett, as you know him.
I call him Bubba.
Because he's alive.
Yeah, he's definitely alive in canon.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's alive.
You think it could be him?
I gotta
watch. So that's the reason to watch the end.
It could be Moff Gideon. It could be Gus Fring.
I feel like Gus Fring he's pulling a lot of strings.
Space Gus.
But so that was the episode. So that was episode 6. That's the reason to go back and watch that. That's what I'll do. Episode 5. Sorry, episode 5 was the Gunslinger. Yeah. So it's the end of that one. Episode 6 is the Prisoner.
Worst episode of the season.
We're putting a team together. You son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch. And I enjoy the comedy of Bill Burr most of the time.
Yeah.
But I found him like he kind of mailed this in. You could tell he wasn't into it.
I did think though that I thought most of the series was gonna be this.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah. Or like kind of one-offs like, hey, Mandalorian, here's some gold. Like, we need you to go do this. Like, I thought this was gonna be most of the series. I didn't hate it. I thought episode 4 was a little bit worse, but I'm with you. This was definitely in the bottom.
Well, you come off the Gunslinger where you have like this mysterious person who's now tracking him. And
Good point.
It could be Boba Fett, and then you do this like complete non-honor episode.
Good point. So then it does pick up. I'll agree with you. After a little bit of a dip there, or a lot of bit of a dip, either way you look at it. Episode 7 and 8 were both much better. Number 7 was The Reckoning. So now you get the Mandalorian and Grief Karga, played by Carl Weathers.
Oh, Weathers, who spent a lot of time with his hands on his hips. Did you notice that?
A lot of times hands on hips and doing like messages through that little pop-up like Skype thing.
But he was doing like the Ozymandias pose, like fists on the hips, like standing like that. Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, are they working together? Are they not working together? And then he's going to have to kill the client, which is really all we know Werner Herzog's character to be.
He's an Imperial, which is we know that.
But
and he talks like this. Like I do a pretty good Werner Herzog, but I
yeah.
But have you seen the movie Grizzly Man?
No.
You never seen that movie?
No.
Werner Herzog directed it. It was about the guy who like got killed by grizzly bears because he said he was protecting them, but wasn't.
Yeah. Turns out.
So everyone
needed help.
So there are bears all in my yard. Bears everywhere in the Farmington Valley. Swear to God.
Okay.
So no, I swear it's like a problem.
I understand.
Okay? Yeah. So every time we see one, I look at my wife and I go, Timothy Treadwell had an amazing relationship with the bears. It's like, can you stop doing your Werner Herzog voice?
Like,
now?
Somebody we know is going to get mauled to death, and you're doing a voice. You're doing a funny voice.
They're little black bears.
There's a chance that somebody's arms get ripped off of their body, and you're doing a voice. But I do like this. So you go from like that shitty team from episode 6 to like what is a much better team. We haven't even talked about Kuiil yet.
Kuiil, yeah.
Kuiil, I have spoken. So between Baby Yoda, This Is the Way, and I Have Spoken, like this show has been an absolute internet phenomenon.
Phenomenon. It's awesome.
But Kuiil's great. So now you have Kuiil, you have Cara Dune, The Mandalorian, and Baby Yoda as like one team. And then Grief Karga was gonna double cross him, and then he ends up like being on their side or whatever.
He winds up most of his guild gets wiped out. I love the idea of guilds too, by the way. Like in like RP like in like Skyrim, you can join like the Thieves Guild.
Should we start a guild?
We should start a guild.
You know what we need?
We need a team up. Oh, we need team ups too. You son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch. You want to join our guild? You son of a bitch. Yeah, I need you for one last job. You son of a bitch.
And that has to be like
that's how you get in.
How you get in. Yeah. That's the password.
It's like we need you. We need your particular set of skills. You son of a bitch.
Before that fucking episode, I loved a good team up movie. Now I hate it.
You can't.
I
can't do it. Yeah. Baby Yoda uses his healing powers in this episode 7, which is pretty badass. You also see that in, of course, The Rise of Skywalker. The finale, Ryan, entitled Redemption. Taika Waititi directed it. You get the cool scene at the beginning with Jason Sudeikis and another dude just talking shit because, also, episode 7 ends on a real fucked up note. Yeah. And it's the biggest kind of, I would say the first 6 episodes essentially end on a positive note.
Yeah, and this one ends with a no.
Episode 7 ends with Baby Yoda is stolen by the stormtroopers and Kuiil is killed. So you're like, whoa, the fuck? So then you got to wait a week, and then here comes redemption. Baby Yoda gets rescued by the droid, who, as I don't think we mentioned it, but obviously he gets reprogrammed by Kuiil, and he's now a nurse droid, and his whole thing is to protect Baby Yoda.
Yep.
And so he does that, and now you have Cara Dune. There's some good stuff in here where the Mandalorian, Grief, and Cara Dune are kind of like hunkered in and trying to like fend off Moff Gideon and his crew, and you're really kind of finding out more and more about Moff Gideon in this episode.
Which is odd because then it's the first time he uses the name Din Djarin. He calls him by his real name.
Yes, and we really kind of close the story on the Mandalorian, his background, like he was not born into being a Mandalorian, like he was a foundling. They took him in,
and that's why he hates droids, because droids are the ones who
because they were laying that on thick.
Yep.
And so there was a payoff to that, and so that's probably really your answer about Baby Yoda. Not that he's mind wiped by him, but it was probably more like he knows what it's like to like he could have been that guy. And what was interesting is, what do you think that the client, your guy Werner Herzog, what did he want with Yoda? Because he was talking to the scientist, he was like, dead or alive, I don't care. And the scientist was like, no, we want him alive.
So who was the scientist? Was played by, I forget that. It's an actor that you know.
Oh, you've seen him, yeah, he's in stuff.
And the symbol on his arm, where he's like the people who made the clone soldiers. So he's like they're trying to clone him, or they're trying to do some like weird.
So do they know he's a Jedi?
I think they know that race is force sensitive.
Okay, because
and I
somebody
would say
mentioned
like,
Jedi later on. They straight up were talking about it.
well, and that's important because the dark saber shows up, and it's important that like, and he says, I know I forget who said it. Like they fought the Jedi or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a race of people called Jedi. Now this is where this ties in. You want to hear my tie-in now?
Yes, please.
So in the second season of The Mandalorian, you have basically it's just like a chase. The whole thing is like, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Moff Gideon chasing the Mandalorian through space with the child, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to find a place to put him. What if? And there's people who alluded to this before. I don't know if you recognize this or have seen this on Twitter. Sebastian Stan looks exactly like young Mark Hamill. I don't know if you've noticed that.
He does. Yeah.
So he finds, because there's this period of time between this and Force Awakens where we don't know what Luke is doing. He's there. He's in the world trying to rebuild the. What if he finds Luke, played by young Sebastian Stan?
Well, I love that.
And that spins off a whole, and this is someone else's idea, so I'm not going to take credit for it, but a Skywalker series. Like that takes place in like Luke in his 30s.
Well, and what's crazy too is because you could get the whole thing, because at this point, Ben Solo is probably maybe born.
I don't think, not yet.
No, not even.
Yeah.
Not even. But obviously Han and Leia are together.
Yep.
Luke hasn't even begun to train Jedi yet. So he's doing whatever he's doing.
Right.
And I think what also makes sense, and it ties into Rise of Skywalker, would be Luke has to meet this baby Yoda and learn about the healing powers so he can put into his journals, and then Rey reads them, and then Rey figures out how to do that.
See that? It works.
Fucking awesome.
And if you look at Sebastian Stan next to a picture of Mark Hamill,
that's pretty crazy.
Uncanny. That
would be awesome. And he's obviously already contracted with Disney Plus because he's doing the Winter Soldier show.
It works.
Easily get him.
It works.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool. But so Dark Saber, Ryan, tell me more about the Dark Saber. That is the big reveal at the end. Moff Gideon has the Dark Saber.
Yep.
Is he what? Does that mean he is trained as a Jedi? Does that mean he could be could he potentially be one of two Siths out there? Like, what's the deal?
So this goes into the Clone Wars, the animated series.
I gotta watch that.
And so who is it? Paz Vizsla, and then there was another Vizsla. I forget his name from the Clone Wars, but he winds up getting it, and then he's actually killed by Darth Maul. So the Vizsla who had the last one who had it was killed by Darth Maul.
Yep, I love that. I love a Darth Maul tie-in.
Yeah. So then, all of the Mandalorians then are now. It's a symbol of power in Mandalore. So if you're like the head of the Mandalorians, like you have this weapon. It's more symbolic. They don't usually use it.
Okay.
So it gets passed down, or like I said, you kill the person. You have to kill the person who owns it to get it.
Crazy.
And we all know the Mandalorians want a warrior's death, so they would, if they were, I would say just if I had a sword and you wanted my sword, I'd be like, all right, well, come kill me and take it.
You need to kill me.
Otherwise, it's like not, it's not legitimate.
Yeah.
So this could be an illegitimate thing, like Gideon killed whatever Mandalorian had it and took it.
Yep.
Now it is on Din Djarin being a Mandalorian. That technically belongs to him if all the rest of them are gone.
Fuck. I like it.
So now we could tie that back in and say that once he gets it, now he can be trained as a Jedi too. Because Tar Vizsla was the first Mandalorian inducted in the Jedi Order. We didn't say he was the only one.
Interesting.
So
who do you think is more likely to see in season 2? Do you think it would be a young Luke Skywalker or an
young middle-aged Luke Skywalker?
I should say middle-aged, right? Yeah. Not young Luke Skywalker, but young compared to the Force Awakens.
Or fuck, man, you could put Obi-Wan. You could get Obi-Wan back in the mix. You can get Ewan McGregor back in here.
No, he's dead.
What?
He's dead.
What are you talking about? He's dead.
He
He's
died.
dead. He's dead. He's dead.
He died
He's
at the
dead now.
hands of Darth
He's
Vader.
the dead guy. He's a dead guy now.
I mean, you could force ghost any of these guys. Like
You
they could all be in it. But no, I mean, you got to think about all the characters who are alive in Force Awakens, just the younger versions of them. Like so, Luke, Leia, and Han are all alive.
Yep.
Well, we also know that Darth Sidious is kind of alive.
We also know that the
Snoke's a bitch.
The Wookiees are friends to the Yoda people.
The Wookiees are. Yeah, good point.
Yep. So we
Chewie
could
and
Kashyyyk again.
Kashyyyk, yep. Do you think season 2? Are you more likely to see Luke Skywalker or Boba Fett?
Boba Fett. I would say you would see him before you see Luke.
That'd be pretty.
Because that's kind of a big thing. But like you said, if anyone's going to do it, I would rather that be Jon Favreau do it. You could tell, and just in the making of this show, that this guy's a fan.
It's very similar to Damon Lindelof and Watchmen. You get the same thing where you're like, he cares about it so much. It's not some guys like, hey, Star Wars makes money. Let's put a show out. It's like, no, it was pretty important to him.
Yeah, like that was pretty awesome.
I thought, and it was a good blend too of kind of honoring the movies and like the story, but also trying to establish your own thing, because that's tough to do. Like, you're gonna make a Star Wars show that compelling, and there's no Luke Skywalker, Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, or anything like that. Like, nope, they pulled it off.
No, they did it.
Pretty damn good.
Something else.
What else you got? Anything else you got? Oh, the other thing was the character that Kuiil plays, voiced by Nick Nolte.
Yeah,
he's like a Ugnaught, which that type of creature was in Empire Strikes Back. You see one of those guys in Empire. Yeah. Yep.
So you do. I just typed it in, and he's fixing something.
Yeah.
He's an engineer.
Full circle.
Let's full circle. There we go.
No, I liked it. And I think the more you talk about it, and like the more little like Easter eggs that they drop, and I'm gonna go back and watch the end of episode 5 again. I think it's Moff Gideon, but maybe it is. Maybe it's the Fett Man. Who knows?
Oh, and he's the one. He's the Ugnaughts put Han Solo in the carbonite, and they're the ones who are ripping apart C-3PO.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
Fucking Ugnaughts. See, but stuff like that.
Perfect.
Like stuff like that is like you would know to put those specific characters in it.
And then did you see what Favreau tweeted out? He was like, season 2 coming in fall, and he took a picture of that big fucking green ogre guy.
And the one that was in Jabba's place.
Yeah.
I forget his name. I had the character too.
Nah, I don't remember either. But like, still, it's just like he's just giving you a little taste for next season.
The Gamorreans.
Gamorreans. Sounds like a spin-off show to me.
Yeah, it's the Gamorreans.
I'm also happy to say that this entire episode, I never referred to the Mandalorian as the Metachlorian.
You did not, which is difficult to do.
I thought that was definitely going to happen.
I'm trying to fuck. What was his name? Members. I'm trying to find the one.
What, that big green bitch?
Throsk.
I
think that was his name.
Was it Throsk?
I thought so.
Throsk. Star Wars.
There's a lot of them. Thok, Thurg. No, it's not him. Thok.
Third, and I think it might be Throsk. Warlord Throsk was a male Gamorrean. He's green.
Yeah, he's one of Jabba's guys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but whatever. He gets eaten by a Rancor. It's over for him.
It's over. That's it's curtains for him.
It's a good thing. I thought my mom asked. I was watching it one day. I was at their house for like Thanksgiving or something, and she asked if it was actually Nick Nolte.
Could be.
I was like, it could be. Like he doesn't look very good.
No, it could.
She's like, wait, is that actually Nick? Her eyes are going, but
it could be. Well, I'm not gonna rule it out.
Yeah,
there's a chance.
Yeah, he looks like the town drunk. He looks like Muff Potter.
He does a little bit.
Yeah.
Ryan, should we get to the old pick of the podcast? Or do you got anything else?
There's one thing I wanted to say Star Wars related. We did not mention, I think in the last week's podcast, talking about the Rise of Skywalker, that Wedge showed up again.
Yes, he did.
And how Wedge Antilles, is that his name?
Wedge Antilles.
Yeah. I was very happy to see him, and I'm sure he was happy to be back.
because you know what? That was a good movie, and people enjoyed it, and it was a fun movie.
And shut up.
It was good. Shut up about it.
And shut up about it. It's fine.
All
right. Pick of the pod.
Pick of the pod. Would you like to kick, receive, defer, or defend a goal?
I will defer to you this week.
So, Ryan, I say this, and I've watched a lot of true crime documentaries in my day.
Sure.
Like to say that I like that stuff. I still feel it's weird to say that I like it, but I'm fascinated by it. I've seen so many of like, whether it be Making a Murderer or The Jinx or the one about Madeleine McCann, like all these fucking ones. They're all on Netflix. They're all pretty unsettling.
Yeah.
I'm not finished with it yet because
is this what I think it is?
Yeah.
Say it.
Don't fuck with cats.
Yeah, I don't think I have the
shit.
For this
you don't.
Thing.
You don't.
Yeah.
So I just skipped right through it because it's a horrible title. But then I saw that KFC from Barstool was tweeting about it and said it was really good. It's only 3 episodes. They're all about an hour. I'm 2.5 episodes down. So when I get a free half hour, I'm going to finish it.
Yep.
It is, and this might serve as a really good recommendation for some people, and for others, it'll steer them away. It's the hardest one to watch that I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
It's so fucked up. I can't even begin to describe it. And I'd forget it. Like the title is stupid. It's a stupid one, but yeah, I don't want to spoil it too much for people because I didn't really know anything about it. There was one thing that popped up that I'm like, oh, I think I remember that headline. But other than that, I didn't really know much about it. It is really well done, like documentary wise. Like they have so much information. They have the people. They have interesting people that they're talking to that are going through this, and basically, it's like people on the internet saw some disturbing videos, and they're like, just regular people. I mean, computer people, but regular people, and they're like, we're gonna find this fucker. And then it becomes like an obsession of how they're gonna find him, and it just keeps escalating. And it is. I was not prepared for how fucked up it was. And like an idiot, it was like Christmas Eve. It's like late Christmas Eve. I have like an hour, and I'm like, oh, I'll start watching this. I'm like, why am I watching it? And then I'm like, I want to know how it ends. But it is a hard watch.
Yeah, so I get deeply affected by documentaries like this. There was one I remember watching called Dear Zachary, which you think is about one thing, and then like shit just fucking spirals out of control.
Yep.
And that thing stuck with me for years. Like people ask me about it, and I'm like, I can't talk about it.
Don't watch this.
Yeah.
It didn't come with like enough of a warning, and like maybe I've become desensitized. Maybe some of the other ones are like this to other people, and I just kind of watch them, and you're like, oh, geez, I wonder if that person really did it, and like it just kind of masks over you like how gruesome the thing is that they did.
Yeah,
but it's the way this one is shot, and like the stuff that they have access to, and some of the stuff that they show you. Oh my God,
but they don't show the actual thing, right? They just kind of like have people reacting, watching it. They don't show like the actual thing. All right.
But like for me and my imagination, which is very strong, maybe the strongest that you've ever met, I only need to see a little bit of it, and like I basically can connect. I can already piece the rest of it together. And like to me, they already show too much. But
I don't know if I can do it.
Anyway, do you have something lighter?
Oh, sure, do Richard. On Netflix, if you're on Netflix, you're watching, and you feel really bad about what you just watched. There's a cool documentary I just watched called Iron Fists and Kung Fu Kicks.
Oh, see, I like.
It's a documentary about, and it says on Netflix, this documentary examines the influence of Hong Kong's martial arts cinema on filmmaking from the Shaw brothers to modern day Hollywood blockbusters. So it's basically like the rise of like Kung Fu movies. I watched a ton of Kung Fu movies as a kid, and like most of these I've seen, like a lot of like, so they basically, Bruce Lee's talked about a lot, obviously.
Pretty good. And he got his ass kicked by Brad Pitt. Did you talk about
that? No, but people are very, very upset about that.
Yeah.
Because there's no way. All right, whatever.
Oh, he could have.
Bruce Lee, man. The father of MMA. Just saying.
That's
the grandfather of MMA.
You're thinking of Chuck Norris, actually, right?
Chuck Norris is the answer.
He's fighting jeans.
No, but it's just if you love Kung Fu movies, it's something really cool to watch. Just love that shit. So watch that. If you watch someone like drown a cat, whatever you do, drown cats.
Oh, dude,
like
I
don't know
that and some. It's fucked.
It's so don't watch that.
So hard. It's fucked so much. Ryan, next week I'm thinking, unless something else pops up or I'm forgetting something, what if we go best of 2019?
We could do that.
Like your best movies, your best TV show, your best performance.
Yeah, we'll do like break it down. Yeah,
break it down. Categories.
Yep, just a
Yeah.
whole dork category. Best wrestler of 2019. I'll even do that. I'll even do some research. I already have the answer.
It's Adam Cole, baby.
Not Adam Cole, baby.
It might be Adam Cole, baby. Yeah, we'll do beers. We'll do the stuff you can't watch everything award, which goes
ginger ale,
the thing that you couldn't see, the best drink.
The thing that I wanted to see but didn't watch. Yeah, that's
maybe,
a good one.
Maybe the top gift that you didn't get for Christmas. Maybe we'll do that for an award. Spoiler: it was a sword.
World peace.
I also am excited to do the 20 sword 1, world peace 2. The 2020 movies. I always love doing that episode.
Look
ahead to all the movies. And if I have time and the wherewithal, I might mash up a handful of our best moments from 2019.
Don't you have interns for this shit? Like, shouldn't someone be like, this be like, can you get an intern to do that?
I'm surprised these even get posted still. So
there's got to be some schlep walking around EEI. You could be like, hey, could you just like listen to every fucking podcast we did this year and find the funniest bits?
I wouldn't trust it. It'd be all trash stuff. So it'll probably just be the hair pie thing on repeat.
The Southern backhand make it on there?
Yeah. Probably.
More money, more problems is got to make it on there.
Maybe you have to tune in if I even make this. You can rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes and everywhere else podcasts are available. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Dork Podcast. You can check out our YouTube channel as well. Subscribe there, youtube.com/Dork Podcast, and email us anytime, dorkpodcast@gmail.com. Anything else, Ryan?
This is a lot of fun. Thanks for having me.
Great. This was a great episode. Let us know what you guys think. Email and Twitter on The Mandalorian. Tell us your thoughts, your theories. If you like Davies about the Luke Skywalker or Boba Fett meetup, I like those.
I'll tweet it out. I'll tweet out the picture of like Sebastian Stan as Luke Skywalker. I'll tweet that out.
All right. Everyone have a very happy new year, and we will talk to you soon.